Viewers were left deeply moved after an emotional on-air moment involving Kelly Ripa and her longtime partner and co-host, Mark Consuelos. What began as a light conversation quickly shifted when Kelly's voice cracked and her emotions became impossible to hide. During the show, Kelly opened up about how much Mark's constant presence has meant to her over the years. In a rare, vulnerable moment, she admitted that working side by side with him has become a source of comfort and strength she never expected. Her simple but powerful words, "I can't do this without you," instantly caught the attention of fans. Mark, clearly touched, paused before responding. He reassured Kelly, reminding her that their partnership goes far beyond the studio lights. The exchange was brief, but the sincerity between them was undeniable, creating a quiet moment that resonated with viewers at home. Fans quickly took to social media, sharing how relatable and genuine the moment felt. Many praised Kelly for showing real emotion on live television, noting that it's rare to see such honesty in a setting that often prioritizes smiles and scripted banter. Sources close to the show say the moment wasn't planned. It was simply the result of two people reflecting on years of shared experiences, challenges, and mutual support. Kelly later regained her composure and continued the broadcast, but the emotional weight of the moment lingered. While some viewers expressed concern, others saw the exchange as a reminder of the deep bond Kelly and Mark share, not just as co-hosts, but as partners who genuinely rely on one another through life's ups and downs. By the end of the episode, the atmosphere had shifted back to normal, yet fans agreed one thing was clear. The connection between Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos remains strong, authentic, and deeply meaningful. As the show moved forward, Kelly tried to lighten the mood with a small smile, but attentive viewers could still sense the emotion lingering beneath the surface. Her co-hosts offered subtle support, allowing the moment to breathe without turning it into a spectacle. Behind the scenes, staff members reportedly noticed how protective Mark became after the exchange. He stayed close during breaks, offering quiet reassurance and light conversation to help Kelly reset before returning on camera. The simple gestures spoke volumes about their connection. Later in the episode, Kelly reflected briefly on how difficult it can be to balance professional responsibility with personal vulnerability. She admitted that live television doesn't always leave room to process emotions in real time, but moments like this remind her why honesty matters. Mark echoed that sentiment, sharing that partnership, whether at home or at work, is built on showing up for each other, especially during uncertain or emotionally heavy moments. His calm and steady presence helped ease the tension, and the show gradually returned to its familiar rhythm. Fans continued reacting throughout the day, with many saying the moment made them appreciate the duo even more. Comments poured in describing the exchange as real, human, and unexpectedly touching. Some even said it felt like watching a private conversation unfold in the most respectful way possible. By the time the episode ended, it was clear that the emotional moment hadn't weakened the show, it strengthened it. Kelly and Mark's openness reminded viewers that even in a polished television world, genuine connection still shines through. Producers later hinted that moments like these are what keep audiences loyal year after year, not perfection, but authenticity.
Cut to commercial, Kelly took a deep breath, clearly trying to steady herself. When the show returned, her voice was calmer, but the sincerity in her expression remained. Rather than avoid the moment, she leaned into it with quiet grace. She shared that working alongside someone who truly understands her has changed the way she approaches each day. Over time, that sense of trust has become a foundation, not just for the show, but for her confidence in facing unpredictable moments on live television. Mark responded with warmth, emphasizing that support doesn't always come from grand gestures. Sometimes, he said, it's about simply being present, listening, and staying grounded when emotions surface unexpectedly. His words drew nods from the rest of the panel, reinforcing the shared respect in the room. Off-camera, fans continued to analyze the exchange, with many pointing out how rare it is to see such genuine emotion handled with restraint and dignity. Instead of turning the moment into drama, Kelly and Mark allowed it to pass naturally, a choice that viewers deeply appreciated. Industry insiders later suggested the moment reflected a broader shift in daytime television, where audiences value authenticity over rehearsed perfection. Kelly's openness, they noted, didn't distract from the show's purpose, it enhanced it. By the following day, clips of the exchange were circulating widely, accompanied by messages of encouragement and admiration. While the moment raised questions, it also delivered reassurance. The bond between Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos remains rooted in trust, mutual respect, and steady support. In the end, what stood out most wasn't sadness, it was resilience, a reminder that even in emotional moments, strength often comes from not having to face them alone. In the days that followed, Kelly subtly addressed the moment without directly revisiting it. During a lighter segment, she spoke about how important it is to acknowledge emotions rather than rush past them. Though she didn't mention names, longtime viewers understood the meaning behind her words. Mark remained steady and supportive, often stepping in with humor or warmth when the conversation edged towards seriousness. His approach helped maintain balance, reminding audiences that vulnerability and strength can exist side by side. Sources familiar with the production shared that the moment sparked meaningful conversations among the crew. Many reflected on how rare it is to witness such honesty in a fast-paced studio environment, and how it created a deeper sense of unity behind the scenes. Audience reaction continued to evolve from concern to appreciation. What initially felt heavy soon became inspiring for many viewers, especially those navigating their own emotional challenges. Messages poured in thanking Kelly for showing that it's okay to pause, feel, and then move forward. As the week progressed, the show returned fully to its usual rhythm, but something had subtly shifted. The connection between the hosts felt even more grounded, as if the shared moment had strengthened their on-air dynamic rather than disrupted it. In quiet ways, the episode became a reminder that not every powerful television moment is planned. Sometimes it's the unexpected honesty, delivered without spectacle, that leaves the strongest impression. And for many fans, that brief exchange between Kelly and Mark wasn't a sign of sadness alone, but of trust, partnership, and the comfort of knowing someone is there when words fall short.
As conversations around the episode continued, Kelly appeared more reflective in later broadcasts. She shared how moments of quiet understanding can sometimes mean more than long explanations, especially when emotions surface unexpectedly. Mark, in turn, spoke about growth and adaptability, how long-standing partnerships evolve over time. He emphasized that learning when to step forward and when to simply stand beside someone is part of what keeps any bond strong. Viewers noticed subtle changes in their on-air rhythm. Small glances, shared smiles, and brief pauses carried new weight, suggesting an unspoken understanding formed from that earlier exchange. These details didn't go unnoticed by fans who have followed the duo for years. Entertainment commentators pointed out that the moment resonated because it felt universal. Many people see themselves in relationships where support doesn't always come through big speeches, but through consistency and presence. Behind the scenes, the production continued as usual, but with an added sense of care. Colleagues reportedly checked in more often, creating an environment where emotional honesty felt accepted rather than awkward. By the end of the week, what once felt like a heavy moment had transformed into a meaningful chapter. Instead of speculation, the narrative shifted toward appreciation for resilience, partnership, and the strength found in shared understanding. For Kelly and Mark, the experience served as a reminder that even under bright studio lights, authenticity still has a place, and sometimes it's the quiet moments that speak the loudest.
As time passed, the emotional moment quietly became one of those episodes fans remembered without needing reminders. Kelly didn't dwell on it, but her openness seemed to linger in the way she connected with guests and audiences afterward. She spoke more often about gratitude, for stability, for partnership, and for the unseen support that makes demanding work feel manageable. These reflections weren't dramatic, but they carried a sincerity that resonated deeply with longtime viewers. Mark continued to be a steady presence, offering balance with calm reassurance and gentle humor. When Kelly leaned into heartfelt conversations, he grounded them. When the tone lightened, she followed her lead effortlessly. The rhythm between them felt more intentional, more connected. Audience members shared stories of how the moment helped them reflect on their own relationships. Many said it reminded them to express appreciation before moments pass unnoticed. What began as concern evolved into something quietly uplifting. Industry voices later noted that the episode stood out not because of sadness, but because of restraint. There was no over-explanation, no forced resolution, just a genuine exchange allowed to exist as it was. In the end, the story wasn't about fear or uncertainty. It became about trust, emotional honesty, and the comfort of knowing someone is beside you when words feel heavy. And for fans watching at home, that simple truth made all the difference.
The moment subtly reshaped how audiences viewed Kelly and Mark's partnership. What once appeared effortless now felt even more intentional, built on years of mutual understanding rather than routine. Kelly occasionally referenced the importance of checking in with the people around you, especially in high-pressure environments. Her words carried extra meaning for viewers who remembered that earlier exchange, even though she never directly named it. Mark remained thoughtful and composed, often emphasizing teamwork and shared responsibility during conversations on and off the show. His calm presence continued to serve as an anchor, reinforcing the sense of balance that viewers had come to appreciate. Behind the scenes, the production leaned into that authenticity. Segments felt more conversational, allowing space for real reactions rather than rushing from one topic to the next. Fans noticed the difference, describing the show as warmer and more relatable. Online discussions gradually shifted from concern to admiration. Many praised the way the moment was handled, without dramatization, without headlines driving fear, just honesty unfolding in real time. As the season moved forward, that brief emotional exchange became a quiet reference point, not a turning point filled with tension, but a reminder of why genuine connection still matters in television and beyond. For Kelly and Mark, it was never about a single moment. It was about showing up, staying present, and continuing forward together, one day at a time. As the conversation surrounding the episode slowly faded from headlines, its impact lingered in quieter ways. Kelly appeared more at ease, acknowledging moments of pause during live segments, no longer rushing to fill every second with humor or commentary. She later shared that growth sometimes comes from allowing yourself to lean on others, especially when expectations feel heavy. Though her words were general, many viewers connected them to the emotional exchange that had resonated so deeply. Mark continued to model patience and steadiness, often reminding audiences that long-term partnerships are built through consistency rather than perfection. His approach reinforced the idea that support doesn't always need to be spoken loudly to be felt. Fans who attended tapings noted an added warmth in the studio, a sense that authenticity had become part of the show's identity. Small, unscripted reactions were no longer brushed aside, but welcomed as part of the experience. Entertainment commentators later described the moment as a rare example of emotional intelligence on live television. Instead of escalating tension, it created space for reflection, empathy, and connection.
Ultimately, the story evolved into something quieter but more meaningful. It wasn't about sadness or uncertainty, but about trust and the reassurance that no one has to carry emotional weight alone. For viewers, that message stayed long after the cameras stopped rolling, a gentle reminder that real strength often shows itself in shared moments of honesty. As time went on, the emotional exchange quietly influenced how Kelly approached her role. She appeared more intentional with her words, choosing moments of sincerity over quick humor when conversations turned personal. Viewers sensed a new layer of openness, not dramatic, but grounded. Mark, meanwhile, became even more attuned to those shifts. He often offered gentle transitions during segments, giving Kelly space without drawing attention to it. The ease between them suggested a shared understanding that didn't need explanation. Audience members began describing the show as feeling more human. Letters and messages continued to arrive, many from people who said the moment encouraged them to speak more honestly with those they rely on most. What started as concern had clearly transformed into connection. Within the industry, the episode was quietly praised for what it didn't do. It didn't sensationalize emotion or rush to frame it as a crisis. Instead, it allowed vulnerability to exist briefly and then pass, just as it does in real life. Kelly later hinted that moments like these remind her why longevity matters, not just staying on television, but staying true to yourself while doing it. Her calm confidence reflected someone who felt supported, not alone. In the broader picture, the story became less about one emotional sentence and more about what followed: steadiness, reassurance, and forward movement. For fans, that progression mattered most. Because sometimes the most powerful chapters aren't loud or dramatic, they're the ones that show how people continue, together, after the moment has passed.